10 years ago, I would have gotten a cease and desist. So honestly, maybe she is turning a new leaf.
I understand that there are no ethics in a boardroom, but I feel like this is
isn't Richie
something
Rich.
I'm leveling up.
Oh,
I'm working.
God.
I
The Ty
DoorDash
Lopez's have made it to TikTok. Lord.
This is nichelord.
I'm going to talk about it anyway.
I am on Facebook Marketplace daily. And if there is one thing that I could change about Facebook Marketplace, is people's liberal use of the term mid-century modern.
Yes, I don't go on Facebook Marketplace, but the few times I have, I feel like anytime there's a wood furniture item, mid-century modern.
If it's squared off instead of rounded for some reason.
If the legs point out like this.
If they are physically lamps, they are all of a sudden mid-century modern.
Oh, yeah.
It is just utterly laughable what people put on there as mid-century modern. And I'm assuming that they're doing it because it's a high search
Absolutely.
term and not because they actually think it's mid-century modern.
Zuckerberg needs to crack down on that. Who was it that messaged you on Facebook Marketplace and you told them, like, leave me alone?
Oh, I was selling. What was I selling? Was it my car?
No, it was like one of our furniture pieces or something.
I was selling
my old
something.
Wayfair furniture.
I no joke got reached out on Facebook Marketplace, email, sent me a call or a text. I don't even know how they got my number. They reached out to me so many times in such a short amount of period of time, you know, like one after the other after the other.
Mm-hmm.
I literally was so offended that I like kind of cussed them out.
We'll share the screenshot. You said something to the effect of, this has gone too far. You've gone too far. This is creepy. I'm not selling this to you or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was something like, it is wildly inappropriate how many different ways in which you reached out to me. I am not...
Anyways, welcome to This Is Niche. We have a lot of interesting topics this week. I would say that Will is the lead researcher for this week's topics. You found a lot of them.
My algorithm is tip top. It is fully niche loaded.
My algorithm is just dog, and Junebug is losing it.
I don't even know. I don't even. Should I pan over to Junebug because she's digging for gold at the bottom of this Ashley's furniture couch.
Yeah, watch it. Okay, pills.
You're gonna let synthetic feathers come out of this couch.
I don't want to deal with this. Let's start with DoorDash.
The fact that they are now allowing you to finance your food orders.
Listen, if I can reach one person, reach one, teach one with this podcast, do not use Klarna for DoorDash orders. This is getting ridiculous now.
If we have learned our lesson from all these other versions where people can just online shop and make payments, it is ruining people.
It is. It's too much.
This would have ruined me in college. I lived off of like $5 California burritos in San Diego and basically $5 meals. If I had the ability to have stuff delivered and put in that way, it would have been the death of me. I would have been ordering the creme de la creme. Or even the same $5 burrito, but it would have had the delivery fee, the tax, and all that.
Yeah, the $5 burrito becomes like the $15
$14,
burrito.
$15 burrito, exactly.
Yeah. This Klarna Afterpay stuff has to stop. I'm sorry. It just excuses regrettable behavior.
I understand that there are no ethics in a boardroom, but I feel like this is
isn't Richie Rich. I can tell you that much.
I'm going to start off with the most insane story I heard this week, which is the happiest baby who sent a bassinet to this woman to make content, obviously with her baby, only for the baby to tragically pass away. And then happiest baby sent them a message and said, since you can't fulfill your deliverables, please send the bassinet back to us.
I'm sorry. As a company, are you that hard up for money that you need this bassinet that badly?
Absolutely not. They make so much money. They are not a small company, and this is not like, I can't imagine that huge of a product. And you're going to go ahead and ask for it back. And I am sure this is probably a regrettable decision just by some social media coordinator,
I don't know,
influence marketing team.
So apparently the bassinet was $1,700. Is that normal for a bassinet? I really don't know.
That's a pretty penny.
Regardless, for a company, it's like whatever. But they have apologized and they said, we cannot express more emphatically our deepest sympathy for what she and her family have been through following the loss of her son.
They didn't call her by name?
Maybe this isn't the full thing. This is just a Yahoo Life article. Okay, well, I guess that is this full statement. Okay.
So just
What was intended to be an effort to provide assistance clearly was a mistake that added to Brooklyn's grief, for which we are truly sorry. We have taken internal steps to make sure it never happens again. What Brooklyn faced was a tragedy beyond comprehension, and we are heartbroken for her loss. So they were basically trying to spin it and be like, we just asked for the bassinet back so that you wouldn't have this bassinet anymore.
So you wouldn't feel sad every time you see this
Right.
expensive bassinet. I don't know if it was just a trade for product or if she was getting paid as well, but I would have paid that contract out.
Yes,
at
same.
the very least.
Because honestly, the publicity factor for these companies is a make or break.
Yeah.
At the very least, don't do something horrible, like ask someone to send a product like that back.
I mean, what do you want her to do? You want her to load that up in her car in between the day that her baby died and the funeral?
Right.
And then take it to FedEx and then have them...
Oh, that just made me even more mad. Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. My feeling is that it was probably, I'm just putting myself in their shoes as a former social media manager, influencer marketing adjacent. I feel like it was an influencer marketing manager who was worried that their boss was going to be mad that they like lost this bassinet and just fired off this email, not really thinking it through all the way, and it backfired. Or do you think it went to the top?
I think it's a stretch. I think they did that probably because they're like, okay, well, you can't, you know.
Who do you think did it?
I think the social media manager did it. I don't think that they did it because they were afraid of repercussions. I think that it was just instinctual. Okay, you can't do what you can't do. They weren't thinking empathetically. They weren't thinking as if they were in her shoes. They were just like, okay, well, maybe it's easy enough just for us to get it back and no harm, no foul. We're not going to, cry that you weren't able to fulfill your obligations. I think that they were just thinking, okay, it's nice enough. We'll just let them go and get the product back and we can move on with our lives.
That's crazy to me. So I saw on TikTok today that Earle is suing Gymshark for $1 million because they terminated her contract for being pro-Israel. She posted like, now and forever we stand with Israel. And I guess the brand was getting all these negative comments. And so they were like, we're not working with you anymore. And now she's coming for them for $1 million, which is very interesting because she is also an investor in Poppy. And Poppy just sold to Pepsi for $2 billion. So she just made a shit ton of money. I'm like, why are you suing them for that? How much was that brand deal?
Maybe she'll get publicity for suing Gymshark.
She's getting negative publicity right now, though.
Yeah, but think about for every person that dislikes you because of your stance on Palestine and Israel, you're going to have 10 people on the other side coming to support you.
I think you're probably right that she is just suing for the publicity and to take a stand against this. But at the same time, I don't know what kind of contracts Earle is getting. I'm just speaking from my own experience, even working on the brand side. A lot of contracts have a reputation sort of clause where basically if you do anything to screw up your reputation, you say anything controversial, anything that reflects poorly on the brand, they can terminate your contract. And right. I want to believe that Gymshark uses that clause because a lot of brands do. I actually can't remember the last time I saw a contract without that clause in it. So I don't know.
That's probably true, but I would have to imagine that the contract was less. That's probably true, but I'd have to guess that the contract that she had with Gymshark was less than $1 million because most people sue for more than their contract because of damages and this and that and the other.
I have heard rumors about Earle's rate for a post, and it is in the lowish six figures. Allegedly.
That's not a lot.
Like between 100 and 200.
I would expect more from her.
Maybe it's gone up. That was just the last I heard.
No, but I would guess like she could easily be making 500,000 a post.
Maybe, yeah.
I have to believe, especially with that sale of Poppy, she is not doing that because of the money. She's doing it for publicity.
No, not at all. And what's interesting is that this whole situation is bringing up a past situation of Earle's where she copyrighted her tweets. Basically, her old tweets were making the rounds because she was being problematic. I believe they were racist tweets. I can't remember, but I'll put them up. She copyrighted the tweets and issued IP violations to everyone who talked about them.
That's insane.
She later said, I didn't do that. I would never do that. But people were getting them taken down for copyright violations, and it was saying it was coming from Earle. So I don't know. That was like a very interesting response. I've only ever seen someone like Trisha Paytas do that kind of shit.
I don't know how serious the lawsuit really is. I think that's just their de facto response to being inconvenienced.
Yeah. Or maybe she's trying to make a larger point and take a stand, like Taylor Swift suing that guy for $1 for sexually harassing her. Who knows?
Maybe.
I have been on ultra rich, multimillionaire, billionaire TikTok lately, and I gotta be honest, I'm not bothered. I have come across Becca Bloom. She is this rich ass young lady in San Francisco, has her own apartment in the city, works in finance, has a very fancy big girl job, but her parents are so rich. She posts outfit of the day videos in their foyer, and it looks like she's in a hotel lobby. It is fascinating.
There's a good way to do rich. It's kind of like your housewives. You don't want to watch poor housewives. You want to watch rich housewives. There's a good way to do rich, and then there's a snobby way to do rich.
For some reason, she does not come across snobby whatsoever. She'll do like a jewelry tour and be like, this is Van Cleef and this is my Cartier, watch and blah, 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 blah. And it's like she's wearing $400,000 worth of jewelry, but she just says it so normally that it doesn't really sound braggy. It's just like, this is what it is.
Okay, so I think the perfect representation of that is Real Housewives, Beverly Hills, Jennifer Tilly, and Crystal Minkoff.
Yes.
Jennifer Tilly is saying, oh yeah, this is not my living house. I live next door, but we bought this house so that I could play in it. And oh yeah, this is a $40,000
Louis Vuitton boat purse.
Louis Vuitton boat purse. And yeah, I just thought it was so cute. And blah, 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 blah. Whereas Crystal walks around, she's got money, but she is dressed very elegantly. She's always got good style, but she could be flashy and she could be very subtle, but everything just screams, that's a luxury fabric. That's a really nice designer cut.
Yes. I love her so much. She's my biggest inspiration, honestly.
Agreed.
And you know what? She was on the show showing off her $500,000 basement that she was redoing with little golf thing and whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm living.
There's a good way to do rich.
I don't know.
And there's a snobby
what is it about that?
I think the snobby part is absolutely that they speak on it as if they want you to respond with, oh my God. They say it like I want you to be jealous when I tell you this.
Yeah, whereas Crystal, it's just like, this just is. Crystal gives old money to me the same way Becca Bloom just gives, this just is what it is. I'm showing my outfit and it just so happens to be a full Chanel tweed outfit with my mini Kelly. I think it might be the tone maybe, because there are some rich TikTokers, like there's this girl who posts her credit card bill essentially, like here's how much I spent in December, and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it like I am with Becca Bloom. I feel like this is a bit much. For some reason, we're all okay with these super rich people on TikTok now, even though we've been saying eat the rich for years, but I'm thoroughly entertained and I'm leaning in. This might be a recession indicator, honestly.
I don't know if it has to do with the money, because we also equally like poor TikTokers who make good, authentic content. If you are true to yourself, whether that is rich or poor, I'm all for it.
Of course. I'm just saying in the past, I haven't really been into the rich influencers. And now that we're maybe going into a recession, I feel like maybe we're more downtrodden about the possibility that we will ever have a house that looks like we're in a hotel lobby. So we're watching Becca Bloom. I don't know, but I highly recommend it.
Now, the snobbier side of this is, who's that? Obviously viral. Everyone's seen it now. The guy who wakes up at 3:45 to dunk his face in a bowl full of Saratoga water.
Yeah, and he dives into the pool at 3:01 a.m. and then is in the pool swimming at 3:04. That
is the most insanity version of wasteful spending. I'm going to take it to the next guy. Did you see that TikToker who's trying to do like a pyramid type scheme? He's like, you think that I want to be bothered with going to Chipotle and getting my own food? Do you think I'm bothered with taking the 12 minutes of time that it takes for me to go to get a breakfast bagel from down the block? Absolutely not. I DoorDash everything, because all that time that you guys spend going off and getting a meal, I'm leveling up. I'm working.
God. The Ty Lopez's have made it to TikTok. Lord Jesus.
It's insane. And it's like, okay, cool, dude.
Yeah, and let me guess, he's trying to sell a course.
Sure, something like that. I didn't even get that far.
It's very much giving Patrick Bateman, that whole routine. I think that's what he's going for. He's trying to give Patrick Bateman vibes.
I don't even know. I think he's rage baiting, because I saw another video of him, quote unquote, playing tennis, back and forth, doing jump squats in between returns. Like that's a normal thing. No way. And then he comes to the camera, wipes off his sweat, and his buddy hands him half a watermelon.
Are you joking? You're joking.
I'm not joking. He ate a watermelon. But the other thing I'm curious about is whether or not, and I have to assume not, that he had a brand deal with Saratoga Water before he did this, because their water is going off the chain. I saw one.
Oh, the blue water?
The blue water, the Saratoga
Yeah.
water bottles. He was dumping 4, 5, 6 bottles into his bowl to dunk his head in. Like, that's absolutely insanity.
Mm-hmm.
They do not look like his brand. So I can't imagine that they would have bothered to buy ad space with him in order to try and do a viral video in that regard.
Well, if they did not disclose it, and they need to be reported to the FTC.
And if they didn't, then he just did all that shit and boosted all of their brand recognition, boosted millions of dollars in sales.
He probably was doing that content creator thing where you incorporate different brands so that they notice you, and then now maybe he'll get a partnership with them. Maybe that's his thing.
I think we all need to give a round of applause to
Kris Viaud.
Viaud. We are all very excited when a genuine creator making good content sticks to their guns, has consistency, and eventually blows up. And this creator happens to blow up due to the generous referral, Jen Hamilton.
Who is very lovable. She's a nurse. She's a baddie. And I actually ended up, you sent me his profile, and then I saw her video pop up on my For You page. And he is a really good chef. He is a professional chef. He was on Top Chef. I saw a video at the top of his page where he was celebrating 65,000 followers, and I was on his page and he had 200,000. He blew up quick. Guess how many followers he has now?
I'm going to guess 400.
Okay, you overshot. He has 300K now. And I'm sure he will get to 400 very soon.
Yeah. I mean, that's great to see. And I hope that it gives him the motivation to keep making more good content, because we all love a good cooking video.
And that just goes to show that you never know who's watching you.
Exactly. He was making content consistently for 200 followers.
And the kind of content that you want to be making at 300,000 followers is what you should be making at 200.
May all the brands reach you. We wish you well. Very, very happy for you.
Speaking of influence, we need to talk about Jaci Marie Smith. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. For the past several years, Kendall Jenner has been copying this girl. She's copied her pictures, her clothing, her hair color. I'm just saying, all roads lead back to Jaci Marie Smith, and it is absolutely hilarious.
Has she ever spoken on this or no?
No, but the latest is that Jaci Marie Smith got a bob. I have to say her full name every single time. Jaci Marie Smith got a bob. It looks so good. And who decides to get a bob shortly thereafter? Kris Jenner. I find it quite suspicious that this is spreading throughout the family now.
They definitely have a group chat where they're just sharing daily updates of Jaci Marie Smith's posts.
But I think that Kendall Jenner already has a bob. So I'm like, maybe she felt it coming from Jaci Marie Smith and decided to pre-get a bob. Look, I don't know. She's got friends all over the place. She could have someone spying on her, looking at what she's looking at, stealing her data.
So if Kendall Jenner already has a bob, then doesn't the idea that Kris Jenner got the bob because of her daughter, not because of Jaci Marie Smith?
No, because the timing is very suspicious. It's the day after Jaci Marie Smith's bob.
Do girls really make impulse decisions to get a bob that quickly?
Maybe. I mean, Kris Jenner used to have a pixie cut. She's always had really short hair. I don't know. I find it very interesting. I did falsely predict last year that when Jaci Marie Smith announced that she was pregnant, that Kendall would also announce a pregnancy. But I think we have some more copying to come.
All right, we'll leave that as food for thought for our viewers.
Kris Jenner must have gotten that bob in between sessions, sitting in Alabama Barker's room, watching her film and be like, do that Lululemon haul right now. Talk normal now.
I guarantee that she drove her to Lululemon to just get a bunch of shit. She didn't even get a bunch of shit. She told her assistant to go there and just
get shit,
bring it back. And that video of her doing a haul is the first time she's seen that goddamn clothes.
It did seem like she had never seen them before.
She put the jacket on and she's like, oh wait, no, it doesn't fit. Like, she absolutely did not buy those clothes.
That is a very interesting conspiracy theory. I don't know, but honestly, there's nothing else that you can do with this bad baby feud. So I'm glad that you're moving on and doing the content that you should have been doing all along.
This is the MGK leaving rap because he got into beef with Eminem. This is the same thing. Like, he turned to rock because he couldn't rap anymore because Eminem rapped him out of the business.
Yeah.
And now Alabama Barker making this type of content, which isn't even good, by the way. She had nothing to say that was of value. She said everything was, I got these Lululemon leggings. I'm like, we know they're Lululemon leggings.
Which leggings are they?
You went to Lululemon.
Which leggings?
Exactly, but she couldn't tell you.
No like to know it link. How are we supposed to get the leggings? She has a ways to go in the fashion influencer world. She's no Becca Bloom yet, but she'll get there if she practices. I don't know what kind of content she needs to be doing, but it needs to be something Kardashian adjacent. Maybe you need to spill some secrets or something. I don't know. Go on Chloe's podcast.
Go develop some actual drama. Go.
Well, we don't want her to get into more drama. Let's just nix the drama.
Okay, fine. Then
we need a red table talk.
Make your lifestyle the news.
You know what she really needs to do is go down the hall to Landon's room and be in one of those bathroom videos of him singing and start leaning into that rocker stuff. Erik Conover, I know him as Erik Conover, I guess he's going by Erik Van Conover now, was arrested for hitting a cop with his car and then getting into a high-speed chase. Erik Conover has millions of subscribers on YouTube. He used to date this girl named Jessica, and they had kind of a couples channel of them moving to New York and looking for apartments, and it was this whole thing.
I was going to ask what the content was that he got followers from. So it was kind of just lifestyle stuff.
It was lifestyle, and then when they broke up, he became a real estate agent and started doing tours of these nice Manhattan apartments and things.
Okay, pretty interesting.
But I keep seeing the video of him talking to the judge, and he is very chaotic, and I dug into some Reddit threads, and apparently he was very publicly announcing that he is no longer on his medication. And this is all kind of connected to that. It's honestly quite sad.
I mean, I think that's really important context to give people when they just watch the headlines like I did, and I added it to our notes. I didn't really have any deeper understanding of maybe why he was acting that way. I mean, obviously, running over a cop. I think he was pulled over at a traffic stop and then he fled it, hitting the cop, I'm sure. And then, them calling it attempted murder when clearly that's not the case. That's a bit of a stretch, but they'll get away with it because they're the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then seeing his outburst to the judge and you're thinking, man, this guy sure thinks highly of himself, a bit bratty, all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's all part of the larger mental health picture.
We don't really want to pile on someone who's going through a mental struggle.
No. And that's not really the narrative that I've seen too often. I think a lot of people who have even followed him back in the couple vlog days knows that he has been kind of troubled. Not to say that he is a perfect person, because he has done some really fucked up things to women and made a lot of really big mistakes, but I think it's just like a viral moment right now. And there's this larger, clearly, I feel like you can tell from that clip that he's not well.
There are certainly things that you can't excuse because of mental illness, how you treat a woman. You can't willfully go off of your medication knowing full well that this is a real possibility of what could happen.
It's pretty extreme compared to the things that he's done in the past. I don't know if the charge is going to stick super hard, but
when there's a cop involved, I feel like it's going to stick. I feel
you
like
think even with mental illness?
Absolutely. He may get a sentence more lenient in a mental care facility, but they're going to go after him at the best that they can, I think, because, they can. They're the cops. They always do that. I hope he gets the help that he needs,
Yeah, something, because it's not super surprising to the people who have been following him that he would get into trouble. But I think this whole story is just so huge. It was on Daily Mail.
That's where I saw it. And I don't even trust the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail is a tertiary source that just pulls in stuff from other places. And if you read a Daily Mail article, chances are in the first paragraph, it'll say, the New York Times is reporting, the Washington Post is reporting.
Yeah.
Like, they just copy shit from other places. So...
Okay, what is that Satire Daily Mail account? The one that is posting like historic moments as if they are breaking news happening right now?
Yeah, I'll put it on here. I see those a lot.
Now, I know I have talked maybe last episode about satire accounts and just being really, really against them when they're not funny. But that one is extremely funny because they're doing things like...
Henry VIII has announced his divorce.
Yeah. Queen Victoria has just broken ground on making such and such estate, and people are literally commenting on it as if they think that it's a real thing. Like, oh my God, what are the Brits gonna do?
Well, I think they're in on the joke.
I don't think so. I think a lot of them are really dumb.
Yeah, honestly, I take a lot of stuff as sarcasm when people are genuinely serious. So
I mean, it depends if you see it on TikTok or if you see it on Twitter. 'Cause I've seen it on Twitter.
Okay, I haven't seen it on Twitter.
You're highly susceptible to getting the dummies.
okay,
that don't
I
get
think the people on TikTok are in on it.
Yeah.
I love our nichelord of the week because we both separately found him, and then we were watching TikTok together, and he came up. Outgoing Azzy.
Oh, I wasn't even aware who our nichelord was this week.
Outgoing
Yay!
Azzy
With his food review.
His Taco Bell review of the mini Crunch Wraps, the Crunch Wrap sliders, was so good. I want to go get a Crunch Wrap slider ASAP.
You love to see someone doing what they want to do, fighting whatever maybe shame sitting in the back of their head when they're sitting in a public space and recording their content.
I feel like there was no shame. He was like, I'm here on a mission to make my followers happy. I'm going to do this review. And he did the damn thing.
Because I originally found him because that girl who videotaped him doing his Taco Bell review and was like captioned,
Pulling a Jen Hamilton.
who is this? And people were in the comments like, he's right there. Why don't you just go ask him? But it wouldn't have generated this moment. People chime in. It's comment bait because they know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find him and then they like him and, all that kind of stuff. It very well could have been intentional.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, but thank you for giving us Outgoing Azzy, because the videos of him after that video of hers took off saying, I'm uploading the Taco Bell video to YouTube, the video that made me famous. Thank you guys so much. Like, if I hit 100K tonight, I'm going to cry. I'm so happy. I just love to see it.
Yeah.
And he's so entertaining and so authentically himself. It's beautiful. Junebug really calmed down, thank God, so we could get through this.
She loves to come up here for the beginning and the end of our videos.
I love you, Junebug. We're going to take Junebug out, but you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at bria.stuart. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like niche news, internet history, pop culture, reality TV.
Speaking of which, what was the last video that you just did that's popping off a bit?
Lime crime. I just did a video all about lime crime back to the live journal days that Doe Deer may or may not have seen. I don't know if she's talking about me, but I don't know who else is talking about lime crime right now.
Instagram stories.
Weird.
It was on her Instagram stories, right?
It was on her Instagram stories. She called it a YouTube takedown.
Ooh.
So that's crazy. She's exhibiting a lot of growth because 10 years ago, I would have gotten a cease and desist. So honestly, maybe she is turning a new leaf. Regardless, you can watch that. More to come. I also did a video about Dote, and I'm talking about other, let's just say, YouTube-y brands of yore. Subscribe to my channel if you like that. You can follow Will on Instagram at willg.macneil or willmacshot if you're into sports for our sports girlies. And follow Junebug at goodjobjunebug. Oh, she wants to be free. Come here, Junebug. Come here, baby. Okay. Deuces.